Fans, Larry Allen here at the Carthage Independent School District Multi-Purpose Building, and Eric Lawrence is doing our camera work today. We're here on Media Day. We're going to meet the Bulldogs, also visit with the assistant coaches, but we're going to start off with the Carthage varsity cheerleaders, and they're going to do a cheer for us. So take it away, ladies.
We are Carthage. Fans on this side.
Now it's time to meet the cheerleaders.
I'm Maddie Isbell. I'm a senior, and my parents are Michael and Sarah Isbell. I'm Lizzie Walker. I'll be a senior, and my parents are Stephen Walker and Christy Chandler.
I'm Sophie Clakeley. I'm a senior, and my parents are Sherry and Stephen Clakeley.
I'm Bailey Whitaker. I'm a junior, and my parents are Bruce and Belinda Whitaker.
I'm Kennedy Marion. I'm going to be a junior, and my parents are Ryan and Tina Marion.
Hi, my name is Kennedy. I'm a senior, and my parents are Amber and Darren Preston.
My name is Sarah. I'm a senior, and my parents are Kara Beth Parker and the late Dwayne Parker.
My name is Emily Ledke. I'm a senior, and my parents are Randy and Carrie Ledke.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Smith. I'm a senior, and my parents are Chris and Stacy Smith. Hi, my name is Macy Harris. I'm a junior, and my parents are Jason and Brianne Harris.
My name is Rayanne Cumby. I'm going to be a junior, and my guardian is Lori Kraft.
All right, this is Damon Horsley, running backs coach, and you're number 5. Gosh, that's hard to believe, Damon. It really is, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Went by pretty fast.
Now, what are your teaching responsibilities?
I teach special ed resources.
Okay. Now, you know, one of the greatest to ever graduate from Carthage, Keontae Ingram, is gone. So tell us who you're looking at running back.
Right now we're Tucker Smith, Mason Courtney, a little bit of Cole Whitlock, and Keontae's brother, Kevontae Dixon. So we have a mixture of guys to go in and try to replace Keontae. One guy can't replace him, so we're going to try to use all of them to replace him.
Will it be an approach of each one of those guys will have certain plays devoted to them, sort of?
Yes, sir, sort of. Yeah, we'll try to keep them some out the tackle box and keep some in the tackle box.
Mm-hmm.
Try to put some of them in space and so forth.
Now, I've got to tell you, one of my favorite athletes at Carthage to watch is Tucker Smith. In baseball, he's all region in soccer. He's an all-out guy, isn't he?
Yes, sir. He's going to be special for us this year. I think he'll be real great for us.
Okay. Well, hey, Damon, have a good year, okay?
Yes, sir.
Not much turnover on the staff of Coach Surratt, but this is Greg Gaston. Okay, Greg, we've got to have you give us a little background on yourself, okay?
Like he said, my name is Greg Gaston. I graduated from Linden Kildare High School in 2010, where I played for Jerry Bennett. After I left Linden Kildare, I went to Louisiana Tech for a year, played football there, then transferred to East Texas Baptist in Marshall and played 2 years there. I then started my coaching career in 2013 as a student assistant at East Texas Baptist under head coach Josh Ergel. Great guy. Learned a lot of football from him. After that, I got in the high school ranks and started coaching at Linden. I was a junior high assistant there, and then I went to Jefferson for a semester. Then I went to Atlanta for a year, and the last 2 years I've been at Linden Kildare as a defensive coordinator. And then I got the call to come down here, and it's a dream come true.
You're the great one here, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pretty good chance of getting a ring, I'd say.
I hope so. You know, there's one thing I told my wife. You know, it's the show now, so I gotta do my best, and just do what I've been doing my whole career as a coach.
All right, now let's step back. Let's go back to college. What position did you play there?
When I first went to Louisiana Tech, I was a running back, and then when I transferred to ETBU, I was a defensive end and linebacker.
And I failed to ask you, what group are you coaching here?
I'll be coaching the inside line. Well, I don't guess it's inside, but I'll be coaching the linebackers.
All right.
Got some big shoes to fill since Coach Hodges left with the guys that he had last year.
I've told many folks, Greg, and you've maybe heard this. This is my 30th year for broadcasting Carthage football, that's the best trio we've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. So, yeah, you've got some big shoes to fill there. But now, Coach Preston already mentioned some of them already, but tell us about these young men that you're looking at.
Right now I got Jalen Brooks and Rayvon Ingram. Jalen, nice kid, nice build to him and everything. He's going to be pretty good. Rayvon Ingram, great kid to coach. I think he's going to be a good player. I'm not saying that he's going to be the best like Michael and
Ahmad
and
Jose,
but I'm going to try to get him as close to them or even better. I had the kid that I had up there at Linden. He was a pretty good hand. He had 200 tackles last year, so hopefully I can get him, Rayvon, to playing the same way that I had that kid playing last year in Linden.
All right, very good. And now I have not asked you also, what are you teaching here?
I'll be at Pace Academy for a little bit of the day, then I'll go to Baker Coombs and teach PE.
Okay. My wife is substituted over at Pace some, so you may be seeing her.
Yes,
well,
sir, yes,
hey,
sir.
listen, great to have you here in Carthage. Now, you mentioned your wife. Tell us about her.
We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary on July the 30th. We've been married for 2 years. She's my high school sweetheart, so it was, I guess it was only right that we ended up getting married and everything. But she's a teacher over at Pine Tree, at one of the elementaries in Pine Tree, and I think she's excited for me to be here just as much as I am.
Hey, well, listen, great to have you and your wife here in Carthage. I really mean that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Greg Gaston. All right, here's a good friend of mine, John Goodwin. 7 years at Carthage as a coach and 4 years as head baseball coach, and I've got a chance to know him real well there. All right, John, you coach the defensive ends.
Yes, sir.
And so you've got some outstanding young men to work with there. Tell us about them.
Well, Quentin Owens is the returning starter. He played strong side end last year, but we're moving him to rush in, kind of taking over from Ontario Wilson, which is, really big shoes to fill. We try to put a guy that's capable of a lot of different things, and Quentin, we really feel like he is. He can rush the passer, he can play the run, he can drop off in coverage. He's learning that part of it still, because that part he didn't have to do last year on the strong side, really. So that dropping and playing in coverage is still a little bit of a work in progress, but he's got a chance, I think, to be maybe the best all-around one we've had at least since I've been here. So just a really smart player, smart kid, super athletic, brings a lot to the table, and has a lot of experience. Really played well as a sophomore, started in every game, all 16 games last year, and just got better and better and better. And we're switching him to the rush end just because, like I said, that's a spot Coach Preston, he does a lot with that spot, and Quentin's capable of doing it all. So we know he's a really good player. On the other side, right now we're working Quantarius Brown, big 6'2", 205-pound kid that really long, rangy. He played on the JV last year, and he's working as the starter at strong end right now. He brings a lot of really positive things. Gets off the ball quickly, really long leverage arms. He's still learning a little bit on what to do and learning the blitzes and trying to kind of, fine-tune his pass rushing techniques. But just a super kid. He's playing really hard, working really hard at practice, and we think by the end they'll be about as good as we've had in terms of just both sides and both defensive ends. So, and
both of them be back next year.
Yeah, that's right. So they're both juniors. They both are kind of like sponges. They try to learn as much as you can throw on them, and we feel.
Boy, aren't those terrific guys to coach that want to learn?
That's right. Those are the ones you look for, and when they're talented like those two are, it makes the job fun. So I really enjoy being around those two.
All right, Coach Preston, through the years I've noticed that he wants players that can run on defense, quickness, and boy, you've got two there. And you mentioned Quentin possibly being up there towards the tops of what we've ever had. Boy, when you think of Jared McLean, that's pretty good.
No doubt. I think Jared and I still talk weekly. I check in with him, and when he comes back, we go fishing together. He likes to fish. And
well, tell us about Jared McLean.
He's a junior now at UTSA. I talked to him yesterday actually, and said, "Hey man, how's practice going?" I think he was exhausted, and well, everything's good. I'm still the starter. So
Terrific.
yeah, you know, they had a kid. They had one of his teammates last year was a first-round draft pick in the NFL draft, defensive end. And so when Jared came home this summer, he said, "Man, I'm probably more motivated than ever because there's nothing that guy can't do that I can't do. He's just you know, a little longer than me, but he's like, if I get after it and have a good year, maybe it'll happen." So Jared, compared to Quentin in high school, at least at this point in the game, was probably a little bit better pass rusher overall, but Quentin, I think, all around as far as playing the run, honestly, and I would tell Jared that he likes to get down and dirty with it a little more than Jared did. So,
okay.
you know, he doesn't mind those guards pulling at him and him getting into those guards, and he doesn't mind guys firing into him, base blocking him. Jared, he wanted to get after the quarterback more than anything as a junior, and so I teased Jared a little bit, but playing the run, Quentin's a little better at this point in the game. Playing the pass, Jared was just he just had a knack for it, and that was kind of his passion. Let's get after the quarterback. So I think if Quentin will kind of fine-tune some of the pass rush techniques, then I mean, he could hands down be the best all-around one we've had.
Outstanding. Okay, well, John, listen, look forward to football and baseball too.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, now this is Mike Morgan, and it's easy for me to know how many years he's been here because he came with Coach Surratt. So this means this is 12th, and in addition to Mike, a great coach, AD and head coach in the past, he brought a couple of really good players with him too. Anthony Morgan with 2 rings as a quarterback. Okay, so you work with, in the secondary, what group?
The safeties.
In the safeties, okay. All right. Tell us about that group of men.
Got Cole Whitlock, returning starter. Got him back with a lot of good experience from last year. Stephen Darden, move in. He's going to be a senior. He moved over from Beckville. He's going to fill in nicely. Try to take the place of Makai Colbert. I don't know if you can replace Makai, but somebody's got to go out there and try. My youngest, Austin Morgan, see a little sophomore working there. Javon King, he'll be a junior, and Wade Cumby, he'll be a senior. Those guys are working safety right now for us.
Austin Morgan going in the footsteps of his brother, Anthony. He started in the secondary, didn't he, as a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know you're not saying Austin necessarily will be a starter, but he's going to be back there playing some.
Oh, yeah. He's just, we've got a long way to go. We're just trying to get better right now and see where it all fits.
All right. What do you teach, Mike?
I've taught health the last 11 years. Now I'm over the dual credit Panola College program. So,
dual credit at Panola. All right. As you know, I taught there for 26 years, and dual credit's getting more and more popular, isn't it?
Absolutely. I did it second and third period last year. We had, I think we ended with 68 students, and we're going to start the year with 107 dual credit kids. So that's good stuff.
All right. Well, terrific. Let's see. So 6 rings for you?
Yes, sir. 6 rings. Working on number 7.
Okay. Have a great year, Mike.
Thanks. See you.
All right. Now here's another coach, in addition to Mike Morgan and Dennis McLaughlin, that have been here all 11 years with Scott Surratt. So he's beginning his 12th. Ryan Marion teaches math, and I really admire you for that, Ryan. I tell you what. All right, you work with the corners. Give us a preview of what you've got there.
I've got Ja'Cory Ware. He's a senior. He started last year. He ended up with 8 interceptions on the year. We're glad to have him back. We've got another senior, Bobby Williams, that's working at that spot. DeAndre Bowman, Miles Halton, and that's the guys we got working at corner.
All right. Now, Ja'Cory, like you said, 8 interceptions. I think that's a school record, I believe, or close to it, isn't it? He had a heck of a year.
Yes, sir. He had a really heck of a year. In that one game against Hargrave, he had 4 interceptions. He caught twice as many passes as Hargrave. Hargrave caught 2. He had 4 interceptions, and one of them he took back for a touchdown, so he had a really good game that game.
All right. Now, am I remembering correctly? When the cheerleaders came through, was there a Marion in there?
Yes, sir. My wife is actually the cheer sponsor, and my daughter is a cheerleader. She's a junior. So there's some other Marions at the high school.
I believe there are. Okay, listen, great to have you and your family here in town, and good luck this year.
Thank you very much, Larry.
All right, this is Micah Smith, second year football coach for the Bulldogs, working with the tight ends, and he also coaches world history. All right, Micah, you're the first one I've talked to that I did not know the names of who you're working with, because Callahan Baldry graduated. So who are you working with over there at tight end?
Right now we have Caden Holcomb, he'll be a senior. Jackson Brumbaugh, he'll be a senior as well. And then we have two young guys, Caleb Chandler and Montrell Smith.
Now, obviously, we throw a lot to our wideouts, so your tight end's got to be a good blocker here, doesn't he?
Yes, sir, they do. I mean, that's what we kind of pride ourselves on, is block first, and then we'll see if we can get a ball later. But this year I do think that we'll be able to kind of flex out a little bit more and do some things in the passing game to help us out some as well.
Any of those guys have good hands?
Yes, sir, that's what we've been working on, so we're getting better and better each day. So.
All right, Micah lives in my neighborhood too, and in fact, my wife and I walk by his house every day. Looked like you're working on some grass out there.
And summer projects. The wife has me out there working quite a bit, so that's the summer projects. We've been on it, and see if I can actually get it going. Got to get some grass growing back there. So.
Oh, and also now this is noteworthy. Micah's JV baseball team went 21-1 last year. What a year!
Yes, sir. I was fortunate we had a great group, and so hopefully they'll continue that as on the varsity level this next year. So.
You still gonna be working with the baseball JV?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I plan to be.
All right, very good, Micah Smith. Yes, sir. Right, this is Zeke Dixon, fourth year at Carthage, and he works with the quarterbacks. So that means he's got a returner to work with, Gunnar Capps. That's going to be a fun year, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. It is really excited about having him back. Had a good off season, hard-working kid, and he's 16 games in, so it ought to be a lot easier for him this year.
Now, someone at practice the other day I was talking to said, looked like he might have grown a half inch or an inch. Is that right?
He is. I'm having to almost look up at him now. So he's a little bit taller than I am now, so that's a good thing.
And you're what?
I'm right at 6'2".
And he's a little taller than that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He has grown.
Now, last time I saw him in action was over at Mike Carter Field, and he got hit by a pitch right on his wrist, but that's okay, right? There was no problem there.
No, sir. He's completely healthy. Everything is fine with that.
And now, give us a preview. Obviously, you work with the passing game quite a bit. What are we going to see this year, maybe say compared to last year, having lost Bowens and Ingram and Mackay?
Well, I mean, you got guys that were 2-year starters, and in Debo's case, a 3-year starter. So we'll be working into it. It may be, we expect the same thing from them. I mean, the expectations don't change from any of our guys. So we're going to go into it, expect the same thing, and we may have to work up to it, but we'll get there.
Okay, if you were guessing, looking at the percentage of the plays last year that we threw the ball compared to the percentage that we'll throw it this year, what's the percentage going to be this year? Higher or lower than last year? Just a guess.
I think it'll be a little higher, but
a little higher.
It's going to be. Okay. But Coach Shiraz, he's going to keep us balanced. So we're going to run the ball. We're going to throw. We're going to do everything. We've got to keep defenses honest, and he does a really good job calling plays doing that.
Now, did you notice that? Just like a politician, he really does, he just sort of hedges the answer right there.
Yes, sir.
And now I believe, did I hear correctly? Your bride is going to be on the staff this year.
Yes, sir. She is. She'll be teaching second grade math and science. So she is really excited about going back to work after. We got our boys old enough to go to school, and our baby is in daycare, so going back to work. So she's excited about it.
She's excited about it.
Yes, sir,
okay. All right. Very good. Hey, Zeke, have a great year, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Now, here's the dean of the Carthage coaching staff right here. This guy has been around longer than I've been here. This is my 30th year, Dennis, to do Carthage football. This is his 32nd year, Dennis McLaughlin, for Carthage football, 36 coaching at Carthage. Wow. All right, Dennis, we lost, my gosh, Colbert, Bowens, and Ingram, 3 great receivers, so you've got some work to do this year. And I've been out to practice, and you got some talent to work with. Tell us who they are.
Okay, the cupboard's not bare. This is the first time in a long time I haven't had a returner. I did some research in my head for you. I know you like this kind of stuff. twice that's happened since Surratt has been here, and that was in '08. We won a state championship. And then the other time was 14 or 15. I don't remember the year. We were 6-6. So we're hoping it's more like '08 than the 6-6 year.
Okay, so this would be the third time
Ever in while
Surratt's here that we've had no one returning.
That I can think of. You'd probably go back and then and figure it out. But the receivers this year, we've got one guy with a little experience, and that's Baylor Colley. He's competing at the X where Dwaylen played, along with Kel Williams, who's going to be a junior.
Okay, now tell us more about Kel, because we haven't seen much of him.
Right, Kel is a junior, and he was kind of disappointed last year because the first play of the first game against Glaywater, he caught a stop route and he broke his ankle. So experience is a little issue with him, but he had a great spring and a great summer. So we're excited about Kel.
Now, was that a varsity game he broke it in, or JV?
No, first JV game, yeah.
Okay.
So he has not played football within pads since his freshman year, really, literally.
Okay, so Colley and Williams, and you got a guy named Dixon.
Yeah, Kelvonte Dixon, who we call Mooch. He's going to be a special kid, but still, he's been a tailback. Now he's going to be a receiver. So there's a learning curve for Kelvonte, for Mooch. I'll call him Mooch, but he's got special talent, and the people are going to like watching this kid. He's got some pizzazz about him.
All right, now others.
Cole Clinton, who started Cole Whitlock. I always mess that. Cole Whitlock, who started at safety last year, is going to play some offense this year. And again, very talented kid, explosive, has made some really special plays in practice this week. So he's probably going to play both ways. So he's going to get some time on the offensive side.
All right, very good. All right, Dennis, have a great year, man.
Thank you, appreciate it, Larry.
This is Charlie Tucker, 7th year as a head coach, as an assistant coach, working with the defensive tackles, and he's also the head basketball coach. We'll talk about that here in just a second. All right, first of all, does the number 77 ring a bell?
Well, apparently that's my golf score yesterday. Who told you that?
Word gets around.
Apparently so. It's only the second time I've ever broken 80, so probably the last time I get to play this year. So that's a good way to go into the off season. So.
Well, my gosh, that's a big accomplishment yesterday. A monumental moment, right?
Yeah, I've only been playing probably 8 years, and so it's been. I'm competitive, and I've been trying to get better. But it's just one of those days. So I almost got Coach Stacy. I almost got him. So, but he pulled it out in the end. So.
All right. Well, let's talk about defensive tackles. Give us some names.
I tell you what. Right now, Felipe Ponce. We call him Ponce, but it's Ponce. He's looking really, really good. He started for us last year. He's had a really good 2 days. Right now, DJ Hicks. Felipe's a senior, and then DJ is a junior, and so he's looking really good as well. He was one. He didn't start for us last year, but we rotated him a lot. And one thing about DJ can play all 4 positions, so he's having a really good camp. And then we got Kylan Lister, who's a sophomore. He's in the mix. Charles Westmoreland, a junior. He's had a decent camp. He's getting better. So we're just getting better every day. And they're a hard-working group. They come to work every day. They're fun to be around. They have great personalities, and it's just a joy to coach these guys. So, but I'm looking forward to it.
Charles Westmoreland, I called his daddy's games.
Absolutely. I think I've met him one time, but Charles is coming along. He's one of our stronger kids, and once he learns to use his leverage and use technique, I think he's going to be okay for us. So, I'm excited about it.
Now, Charlie came here for two reasons: to coach basketball and to get rings. And so he's got 3 football rings, and I want to publicly say he did a great job last year. Led our basketball team to the regional tournament for the first time in maybe decades, and had a great year, Charlie. Congratulations on last year, and just a brief basketball preview.
Yes, we don't start basketball. We don't play basketball. I have an off season during the year, but most of my kids play football, and when I got here, that was kind of my goal, is to get kids who played football to play basketball, because when I got here I didn't have any football players, and so that we've turned that around.
I'll tell the folks, practically the whole team played basketball.
Exactly, all but I think 2 maybe. And so, I develop a rapport with them out here, and the commitment out here. Then when I don't discuss basketball with them, I may get their shoe sizes to make some orders, but I don't do that until it's time. And I always say, hopefully that's after Christmas, because that means we're playing for another ring in football. And it works for me. This situation works for me. It may not work for the average, basketball coach, but it's a great situation. I feel very fortunate to be here, to do that, to have great kids, work with great kids. My off season, we just finished our summer league basketball program, and that's kind of our off season in basketball. We look good, and we'll see. We've changed districts, we've changed regions, so we'll see how that goes. So.
All right, Charlie Tucker.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey. All right. This is Marcus Bowman, and if you've been around Carthage football for a while, you know that Marcus was our starting quarterback back in 2006 and got hurt in Game 6 of the year, and that injury really started us on a downhill stretch there for the rest of the season. We lost 3 of the last 4 ball games. He was a key player. Now, did you start in 05 too?
Yes, sir.
You did. Okay,
yes,
2-year starter at quarterback. All right, now tell us what you're doing now at Carthage, Marcus.
This year I'll be doing junior high football, high school basketball. I think I'm gonna coach the freshman basketball team and be assistant for the varsity, and then I think I'm gonna do junior high track.
All right. Now in junior high football, you guys don't start working out with them before school starts, right? It starts when school starts?
Yes, sir. Start when school starts.
And for folks who have not seen our junior high games, I know about them because I run the clock for the home games. You guys play on Thursday nights, don't you?
Yes, sir. Thursday night. I think the first game, 7th grade B team will start at 4:30 every Thursday.
All right. And what is your specific responsibility? Like, do you work mainly with the offense or defense, a certain position?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll call the plays for the 7th grade B team and the 8th grade B team. Call the offense for those 2 teams.
And you call it during the game?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, again, if you haven't seen the junior high games, a little bit different rules. In other words, there's no play clock, no 25-second clock, right?
No, sir. No play clock.
And there's more time spent usually in getting the plays in, right?
Yes, sir. Getting them lined up.
Getting them lined up in the right spot.
Yes, sir. Especially the B teams, because, a lot of those guys, some of them, it's their first time. So, you kind of teaching them and helping them learn at the same time.
You got any classroom responsibilities?
I teach the OCS at the junior high.
Okay. All right. And told me that you're working on your certificate, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm working on that. Been a long path, man. Hard but fair, so just got to keep pushing.
There you go. All right, that's Marcus Bowman. Marcus, thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, this is the first time we've interviewed Derek Reed. Derek is, 4 years here, is that right?
Starting my 4th.
Okay, and he is the trainer. Okay, tell us what you do every day.
Well, I have a group of trainers that help me. I got a big group this year. There's about 15, and we basically take care of the guys. We make sure that they're hydrated, which is a big part of it, especially during two-a-days. We deal with any injuries. If they're injured, we get them to see the doctor. We do rehab up here with them and just try to get them back as soon and safe as possible.
Derek, I just read an article today about a young man played at Forney High School, and he was struck by lightning back in the 90s and passed away. And as a result of that, all the high schools in the state now have to have equipment that detects lightning within a certain distance. Now, I know at one time is that your responsibility during games?
It is. I keep an eye on that, and if it gets too close, I get with the officials and I let them know, hey, it's this far away right now, and as it gets closer, we kind of keep in contact. And if it gets too close, they make a decision. And if it gets that close, then we have to clear the field. And we don't want anything bad to happen, like you were talking about in Forney a few years ago. So, that's another big part of what I do.
And as I recall, okay, if a lightning delay means 30 minutes, and then if 28 minutes have passed and we have another strike, the 30 minutes starts all over.
That's right. It's 30 minutes from the last strike. So every time it strikes, you got to start that 30 minutes over again.
And I don't think I've ever heard, is there an exact number of miles underneath that you have a delay, or is it just sort of you're sort of determining what to do?
There's not an exact mile. I know different places have their different policies. Anywhere, when it gets within 15 miles, we're taking note of it for sure. And if it gets much closer than that, then we're clearing the field. All right. Hey, well, listen, 4 years here. Good to have you. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, now it's time to meet the Bulldogs. They're going to introduce themselves.
I'm Wade Cumby. I'm a senior. I'm a strong safety, and my mom is Lori Kraft.
Montrell Smith. I'm a sophomore, and I played tight end and defensive end.
And
my parents and guardian are Felita K. Ewens and Samson Ewens.
Very good.
My name is Takis Crawford. I'm finna be a junior. I play offensive lineman, and my guardian's name is Lakeisha Watts.
Very good. Good going.
T. Kellum, sophomore, offensive lineman. My guardian is Chandra Lewis and Christopher Bowman.
Audrey Wallace, senior, offensive lineman. Parents Stephanie Wallace and Mike Wallace.
Cole Whitlock, junior wide receiver. Parents Tanya and Ronnie Whitlock.
Hey, great job.
Quentin Owens, junior, defensive end. My parent is Christina Walton.
Yeah, have a great year.
Elijah Collier, senior, linebacker, number 25. My classification, I'm in the 12th. My parents are Flora Collier, and that's it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm interview ready. My name is Blake Clift. I'm a junior, and I play free safety, and my dad is Lee Polk.
Quantarius Brown, junior, DN, and Deshauna Brown.
Do I say my grade and
Yep.
Charles Westmoreland III, junior. I messed up.
That's okay.
Charles Raymond Westmoreland III, junior, D tackle. My father is Charles Raymond Westmoreland Jr., and my mom is Charmaine Westmoreland.
My name is Christian Chavez. I'm a senior, and I play defensive tackle, and my parents are Holly and Noe Chavez.
Hello y'all, my name is Jarlin Crow, and I'm a senior, and I play defensive tackle, and my parents' name Brandy Horton, and that's all I gotta say.
Okay, very good.
Oh, that's it?
Go ahead.
Kel Williams, junior, sophomore. Demers Williams and Tanisha Alice.
Very good. Come on.
Junior linebacker.
Yeah.
All right. Right now?
Go ahead.
Rayvon Ingram, junior linebacker. My parents are Melissa Ingram and Glendale Ingram.
That's the way.
DeAndre Bowman, junior defensive back. Roberta Bowman and Clifford Bowman.
Okay.
Markeisha Allison, junior, DB. I forgot.
Your parents are guardian.
Latasha and Jerry Johnson.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Desmond Hicks, junior defensive lineman, Princess Wallace.
Jakevian Tools, junior defensive lineman, Jocelyn Jennings and Bruce Jennings.
Good.
Kalen Pelham, junior, DN, Angela Blankenship.
Anthony Wilson, sophomore, quarterback and corner, and Tony Williams.
Yeah.
Jaden Thomas, I'm a junior, play running back and safety, and my parents are Kimberly and Malcolm Thomas.
My name is Cy Schumacher. I play fullback. I'm a sophomore, and my parents are Sean Schumacher and Kylie Schumacher.
Colin Lister, sophomore defensive lineman. My parents are Jeremy Lister and Darla Lister.
Carson Williams. I'm an offensive lineman sophomore, and my parents are Sandy Williams, Carson Williams. I'm just Kendrick Williams.
Austin Morgan, sophomore free safety. My parents are Mike and Jenny Morgan.
Baylor Colley, senior wide receiver. My parents are Jimmy and Angie Colley.
My name is Michael Mack, and I'm a senior, son of Michael Mack Sr. and Chandre Mack.
Position?
Fullback.
Okay.
Garrett Hooker, senior defensive end. Jeff and Danette Hooker.
Mason Courtney, sophomore running back. My parents are Shane and Daphne Courtney.
Job Brazier, junior, Sam linebacker. Parents are Melissa Ingram.
Devontae Beecham, safety. Joanne Marshall.
Very good. Anything classification?
Oh, a junior.
Junior, okay, good.
Stephen Darden, senior, defensive back. Sheila Buchanan and Stephen Darden, senior.
London Andrews, junior, kicker. Guardians are Melissa and Junior Andrews.
My name is Logan Scalora. I'm a senior, and my position is D-line. My mom is Nicole Tarpley.
My name is Jackson Blissett, junior quarterback, and my parents are Joey and Shauna Blissett.
My name is Kawante Brown, sophomore linebacker, Chambry Hoskins.
My name is McCain Jones. I'm a senior. I play linebacker, and my parents are Rosalind Woods and Malcolm Jones.
My name is Cartrell Fulton, junior wide receiver. My parent is Romelia Clark.
My name is Miles Halton, junior defensive back. Parents Sheba Williams and Lee Halton.
Hunter Hill, 11th grade, receiver. Misty and Stephen Hill.
My name is Clayton Anderson. I played nose guard. I'm a senior this year. My parents are Hilton and Melissa Poindexter.
My name is Jackson Brumbaugh. I play tight end. I'm a senior, and my grandparents are Carol and Lynn Vincent.
JT Romero, senior, offensive lineman, JW and Susanna Romero.
Good job.
I'm Jadez McDaniel. I'm a senior, D-line, and my parents are LaPika Castleberry and Desmond McDaniel.
Connor Davis, junior, offensive lineman. My parents are Mark and Stacy Davis.
My name is Khalil Davidson, junior, cornerback.
And let's see,
And-
classification? Oh, you say junior? Okay,
Yes.
parents or guardians?
My mom is Tamika Day, and my dad is Bodrick Davidson.
Very good.
Javon King, Jr., defensive back. My parents are Roughriders King Jr. and Sharonda Jackson.
Good job.
Felipe Ponce, defensive lineman, class of 2019. Parents are Felipe Ponce.
Good job.
Darren Thorne, junior nose guard, defensive tackle. My parents are Sheila George and Clyde George.
Hunter Dubose. Oh, man.
That's okay.
What is
Hey, okay, position and classification?
Position, safety, and tight end. 81. My guardians are Trina Dubose and Chris Dubose.
Okay.
My name's Luis. I'm a kicker, senior, and my parents are Maria and Jose Piedras.
Alberto Garcia, senior, kicker, punter. Parents are Alberto and Leticia Garcia.
Good job.
What supposed to be saying?
Okay, this is name.
Kevontae Dixon.
Classification and position.
Junior, class 2020, wide receiver.
And
my
parents or
parents is
guardians?
Brandy Ingram.
Very good.
Gunnar Capps, senior quarterback. My parents are Shane and Crystal Capps.
Good job. Okay, two. Let's go. Here we go. Somebody.
My name is Jacoy Ware. I'm a senior. I'm a defensive back.
Okay.
My parents are Keisha Robinson.
Good job.
Rashad Bridge Garrett, senior wide receiver. Shavonda Holland.
Good job. Okay.
My name is Calvin Barber. I'm the senior center, and my parents are Tate and Catherine Barber.
My name is Kevion Booty, and I play offense. I'm a senior offensive lineman, and my parents are Herman Lamette and Sabrina Walton.
Good job. Okay. Let's go. Here we go. Okay, name, classification, position, and parents or guardian.
Yes, sir. All right, my name is Tucker Smith. I play running back and receiver for Carthage, and I am a senior. And my parents' name are Keith and Tammy Smith.
Okay.
Jalen Brooks, senior, running back and linebacker. Cassandra and Ashley Brooks.
Good job. Okay, come on.
Caden Holcomb, senior, tight end, Eric and Nicole Holcomb.
Okay.
Alan Campos, senior, linebacker. Ken, Maria, and Rosalio Campos.
Mason Bobo, junior linebacker. My parents are Mark and Kim Bobo.
My name is Patrick Williams. I'm a senior. My position is wide receiver. My parents are Michelle Williams and Patrick Williams.
My name is Reed Griffin. I'm going to be a junior. I play offensive left tackle, and my parents are Jeff and Monica Griffin.
All right, we're going to finish up with the head coach of the Carthage Bulldogs, Scott Surratt, in his 12th year here at Carthage. Okay, Scott, first of all, give us a recap of the numbers this year that have come out for football.
Well, we got a small freshman class first time. We only got about 50, so we're a little bit down on numbers. That put us about 150 to 155, and it had to pick up a little bit because when school starts, just because there's a few freshmen that couldn't be here, but we're going to be around that area, 150, 160.
A slight change this year for the UIL in you're wearing the pads and when you start that and contact. So tell us, we're taping this the end of the first week of practice. So what have you done so far and what's coming up?
Well, first, you're right. They changed everything on us, and so we were just helmets, shorts, and T-shirts first 2 days. And the second day, they let us put shoulder pads. Or third day, put shoulder pads on, but no hand-to-hand combat on that Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we couldn't put full pads on. It's the first time ever. We have always had our blood alley drill, so we hadn't had it yet. But but we could do hand-to-hand combat, and so we got to do a few things on Friday, but still can't take to the ground yet. So it's different.
So when's blood alley coming up?
Well, if we do it, it's going to be Monday. We don't like to do it when we're fixing to scrimmage, so we don't know. We're deciding that right now if we're going to do it or not.
All right, then you've got a scrimmage against Pittsburgh, and I believe that's here. Is that right?
We have a scrimmage next Friday against Pittsburgh. Freshman and JV will be at 5:30, and varsity will be around 7.
As of now, no second scrimmage. Is that just off the table completely?
Yeah, it's not off the table completely, but we hadn't found one yet, so it's looking like we're probably not going to have a second scrimmage.
Now we're going to be playing some teams this year in pre-district that we haven't played in a while. So just give us a preview of that pre-district schedule.
In Jacksonville, we used to play those guys. I think we played them around 4 times since we've been here, and that's a good thing. We're opening up with those guys again, and I think they're loaded and going to be very good. So it'll be a really, really tough challenge. And then we're playing Liberty Ilo at their place. That's going to be tough. And then we got Marshall on the schedule, and instead of scrimmaging those guys, and I know they're loaded. So it'll be very, 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 very challenging, I think, against those guys. They're going to be big and fast. And then we play Gilmer, which is always, a good contest for us. And then we'll travel, Pleasant Grove will come to us. and so they're state champions last year, and 16-0, and so it'll be 2 state champions going at it. And so that'll be very interesting.
All right, now a little bit of a change in the district. We've added Van, and we lost Center and maybe one other. So tell us what you know, first of all, about Van.
Van's, I think, the last couple of years was around 22-4, something like that. They've been very good, and then we lost Bullard in Center. So
that's right.
I don't know how good a switch off that was, but anyway, our district's going to be tough every year. We got to play week in, week out, and just continue to get better and stay healthy.
Now, when I interviewed the position coaches, I talked to them about the players they're working with. Haven't asked anyone about the kicking. In fact, I usually ask you. So tell us about punting and place kicking.
Roberto Garcia looks like he's going to be the kicker, and he's going to do some punting for us too. But Tucker Smith's a great punter, also punted for us all last year. Yeah. So if we're going to sprint to the right, Tucker's going to be in there on our punting game. If we sprint to the left, it's going to be Garcia. But our Garcia's kicking everything in the end zone right now, and he looks very good.
And he's a senior, isn't he?
He is a senior.
All right, and district outlook for the District 10-4A, Division 1?
Division 1, our district outlook. Hopefully we're on top. I hope that's the outlook. It's going to be very tough. You know, Kilgore's always going to be good. Henderson's always going to be good. Chapel Hill's supposed to be better. Palestine's going to be a lot better. Van's going to be very good. I mean, it's a loaded district, and we know we got to play very good football or we'll be sitting at the house.
All right. Any final comment?
We're just excited. It's good to see the young guys' eyes, especially the one that hadn't played varsity, look at their eyes when you first put the pads on, and it's going to be a very interesting day Monday, but we're very excited.
All right, that's it for Media Day here. We're glad you could join us. If you can't make it to the games, obviously we'll have them for you live on KGAS, starting with the home game against the Jacksonville Indians right here at Bulldog Stadium. So for Eric Lawrence, this is Larry Allen, wishing you a great weekend. So long, everybody.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Meet the Coaches program. It's an annual event. I understand we've been doing this thing for 10 years or more on your Sports Beat stations here in East Texas, via KGAS in Carthage, KPXI and KWRD in Henderson, and KMHT in Marshall. I'm Mark McLean, just one of several voices that you'll be hearing over the course of the next 90 minutes or so as we talk with a lot of the area coaches from around the East Texas area, be it football coaches getting ready for the upcoming season, or volleyball coaches getting ready for the upcoming season as well. And so we thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon on all of our Sports Beat of East Texas stations. And we are ready to get this thing underway. First off, a quick word of thanks to Coach Pat Browning and all of his cohorts and friends who put this thing together every year. We're coming to you from his place out here in Fairplay, between Fairplay and Beckville. And they have a real nice facility out here that the coaches all come out and just get together, have some burgers and all that sort of thing. And so it's just kind of a neat thing to get the season off and running, of which is about to happen. And so we're going to be talking some football here in just a minute. But first, we're going to start off our program here this afternoon talking some college volleyball. And Jane Hayes, the assistant volleyball coach, I want to say long-time assistant volleyball coach at Panola College.
Yes,
What's it been
sir.
now, 4 or 5 years?
This is going to be 6 years.
Oh, my God. Time flies, isn't it?
I know. It's amazing.
Okay, very good. So Jane is here to tell us about Panola College volleyball. National tournament last couple of years.
Yes, sir.
Lost some players, got some new ones coming in. Give me the spiel. What do you think of the upcoming season?
Well, we're definitely excited with what we're returning. We're bringing back 7 sophomores. 5 of who had a pretty important role last year, and 2 that came in, were played in and out, and did some good things for us. And then bringing in 8 new faces, a couple of internationals that are looking to make a big impact for us. And you know, it's tough to make it to the national tournament, but we're very hopeful that if we progress steadily throughout the year, that we'll have a good chance towards the end.
Because, and you've got your Region 14 conference, which is tough enough, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But when it comes to that national tournament thing, boy, once you've been there a couple of times, it's hard to not want to go back, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think it's something that has now become not just the goal, but more of an expectation for our players. And so it can be really easy sometimes to just think, oh, it's going to happen, and not recognize that for 3 or 4 years, we were really knocking on the door, and we took some tough losses in the game to qualify. And so keeping the kids motivated and understanding that just because you want to be there and because you expect to be there doesn't necessarily mean that that's an automatic for you, especially with the competition that you have to face in our conference to go.
Well, as you get started with practices and getting everything underway here, what are you seeing? Frontline players, servers, what seems to be, I know it's awful early to be asking you what you think the strength of the team is, but what are you seeing?
I think offensively, we've always been pretty strong. We run a pretty fast offense, so that's something that's been really successful for us. We're really excited about the middles that we have. We've got 2 returning, one that played a majority of the year, and then another that came in towards the end of the year and actually played in the match for us to qualify for nationals, and had a big game experience for her towards the end. And then we've got a freshman that's going to bring a lot of size in the middle, so we're excited to kind of see what we look like in comparison to everybody else. But I'm looking for our blocking to be much improved. Our frontline defense, that was something that Coach McCray and I felt like was a weakness of ours last year, and we really went and addressed that in recruiting. So I think that's going to be the biggest impact for us this year. I'm praying, we're both praying that we're going to block a whole lot more balls this year.
And when it comes to me watching your games, even broadcasting your games, that frontline blocking, well, sometimes it has to be that one young lady on her own,
yes.
But then sometimes you get a couple of them team up to do it, and when it works, it's really nice to see.
Yes, it really can be a game changer for you. You get a couple big blocks on the other team's primary hitter, and that can really change the complexion of the match. All of a sudden they're not taking quite as aggressive swings as they once were when they didn't really face anybody. So we're very hopeful that we're going to make a big difference in that category.
You mentioned the international players there a moment ago. When it comes to volleyball, it just seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, when you talk international in volleyball, you're usually talking Brazilian, South American players. Is that where you went?
Yes, we'll have 2 new Brazilians that will be playing on the pins for us, so outside and a right side. And then we actually have a young lady from Mexico that's played on the national team there that is going to be one of our middles.
So, all this stuff about soccer is the international sport and everything, and it probably is. They play volleyball everywhere too, don't they?
They sure do. Volleyball for the women is really, it's the primary sport in a lot of nations. The pro leagues overseas are really where most of our top players after they graduate from college are going to play. So it's strong, and I think it's great for our Americans just to experience life with people from different cultures, and they really get close, and I think that helps them grow in a different way than they would.
Yeah. Well, let's talk here a little bit about the Panola College Phillies volleyball season as far as the schedule itself, because all these football guys out here, they got another week of practice after. You are about ready to get started, aren't you?
We are. It gets rolling. We have a scrimmage with Wiley that's coming up next Wednesday, and then on the 17th we will have our annual green and white game, and we're going to kind of do a Meet the Phillies promotion that day. So we'll have our calendar posters we're going to sign, and so we're really hoping to get a nice crowd out for that so they can meet our team and get the schedule there. And then we have our home opener coming in on Wednesday the 22nd against North Lake.
Okay, very good. And so you've got that non-conference with North Lake, and you've got some other non-conference games you're going to be playing as well. I think Southwest Missouri gets into this a whole lot, don't they?
Yes, and we'll be headed out to New Mexico actually this year. Typically we open our schedules or our tournament schedule in Tyler, but this year we're headed out to New Mexico Military Institute for our first tournament.
All right, but when it comes conference time, you, Tyler, Trinity Valley,
Navarro. It's going to be a dogfight.
They come at you every game, don't they?
Yes, it does. I think Region 14 North has been so strong the last 5 years, and I have no doubt that with the coaches that are in our region, it'll continue to be that way. So it's going to be some really great volleyball coming at you.
Very good. It's about to get started here very quickly at Panola College. Last year, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but last year you guys hosted the Region 14 tournament and did a fantastic job with that. Where's that going this year?
We are going to be at Lee College down in Baytown. It kind of flips back between north and south, so they do a great job out there, but we'll be down in that Houston area.
Okay, very good, very good. Jane Hayes, the assistant volleyball coach at Panola College. The Phillies volleyball getting ready to get started. Amber McCray, your head coach, she's out here running around somewhere as well. Anything you want to say about her? And before I turn you, she does a fine job.
She does. We're so blessed to have someone with her knowledge and the caliber of coach that she brings to the program. I think our kids really gain so much from working with her, and I know I have personally. My knowledge of the game has grown tremendously, and she allows me to do a lot with our program. And so it's more like we co-coach rather than 1 and 2, and I think that experience has allowed me just a ton of opportunities that I wouldn't get elsewhere.
As the season progresses, though, I'm going to be watching her because, you're calm and collected in a game. I swear every game I think she's going to actually step out on the floor.
Oh, I know. I think if she had another couple years of eligibility, some special things really could happen. But we try to balance each other out. If she's kind of a little bit high, I try to be a little bit more low than I normally would want to be. But I think that that's something that we really try to balance each other out and give the kids a different look from each of us. And sometimes I get a little bit high maybe in practice, and then she can come in and say, okay, we're good. We need to just relax. And I think that works really well for us.
Very good. Jane, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
See, it was good to be first, wasn't it?
Yeah, not too bad at all.
You have set the tone now for all these
great.
guys.
Hopefully nice and high.
Thank you, Jane.
Yes,
appreciate it. All right, so Panola College volleyball is going to be getting started here very, very soon. And be sure and go out to Arthur Johnson Gymnasium and check them out when the time comes. All right, so we're going to step aside here for a 3-minute break, and then we're going to come back and talk with more of our coaches. We're out here at Pat Browning's place in Fair Play and meet the coaches on your Sports Beat of East Texas stations. Back here in 3 minutes for more of our coaches' interviews here in 3 minutes on your Sports Beat stations. This afternoon to our Meet the Coaches event out here at Pat Browning's location out in Fair Play. Having a great time here this afternoon. We're talking with lots of coaches from around the East Texas area, and we thank you very much for tuning in here on your Sports Beat of East Texas stations, KGAS in Carthage, KPXI, KWRD in Henderson, and KMHT in Marshall. I'm Mark McClain. We are back here once again to talk to some more coaches. Larry Prince is the head coach of the Garrison Bulldogs. You're about as ready as you're going to be on this day, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks you'll really be ready, right?
Well, that's what this part of the season's all about. Is just finding those guys and make sure everybody's in the right position, getting everybody in physical condition to be able to play a 4-quarter ball game.
Well, for you, as you get started here, first week of practice.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of shape are you in, or is that what that first week's all about, of trying to get you into some shape?
Set a knowledge base and then get them in the physical condition. That's our two main objectives for this week.
All right.
And it went really well. I thought we had great numbers. The kids came out and really worked hard this week.
Good. Well, when you're talking about Garrison football, talking about a little tradition there and some guys who want to play and play well and the whole thing. You're looking at new district this year and all that stuff. But what do you have down the road when it comes to scrimmages and non-district games and that sort of thing?
Well, we come up this Friday. We travel to ARP, scrimmage ARP. Then we got Groveton coming to Garrison for a scrimmage. Then we kick off the season in Tyler against TK Gorman. Crockett will come to Garrison. And then we play St. Augustine and Alto. So, up all the way through district, there's not.
Who made that schedule?
I don't know. But sometimes I look at it and think, man, what were you thinking?
You
got to figure out where you are.
Set me straight here now. You're looking at Crockett. Athletes all over the place.
Every position.
St. Augustine.
Same thing, every position.
Who else?
Alto. Same thing, every position. But
then you start district.
And then we start district, and this everybody talks. Oh, y'all dropped from 3A to 2A, and it's great. Well, I can tell you the UIL didn't do us any favors. I mean, dropping, that's a big deal. We get a chance to compete against schools more our size. But man, you're sitting there looking at Tenaha and Timpson and Joaquin and Beckville.
And apparently Lyndon Kildare's pretty good, too.
Lyndon Kildare's got some cats. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. So, well, you have set yourself up pretty good here. But if it all goes well, then that non-district's really going to have you ready for district.
That's right. That's what it's all meant to do, is set that district schedule up.
As you look at your team, What are you thinking right now? Do you have some good returning leadership? Are you going to rely on some youngsters, or what are you doing?
We've got 15 seniors, so we're kind of senior heavy. The biggest thing I really feel like this, and even these kids have said it in the locker room. They said, "Coach, it just feels different, man. It's our team chemistry is just so great right now. Even in the first week of the season, our team chemistry is where you want it to be. And these guys, they compete at all things. I mean, they're competitive in the classroom. Like when they have a test, when they have a round of tests, they know what each other made. They're sitting there, they're figuring out these things, and they compete not just there, but in the weight room, on the field. It's a really good situation right now.
Very good, very good. Well, so overall, just looking for great things there at Garrison, and your third year, schemes all pretty much the same as what you've tried to establish the last 2 years.
Yep. Yep, that's it.
All right. I see that, and I know that's what you're doing, because you said you got ARP coming up, maybe even in a scrimmage, but still, you're not telling any secrets out here, are you?
We're a spread team. Look a lot like Auburn. Of course, not the same cast that Auburn has, but scheme wise, we'll do a lot of what Auburn does, a lot of what Clemson did with Chad Morris there. Defensively, we're just going to try and be aggressive and create as much chaos at the line of scrimmage as we can.
I know it's a few weeks down the road, and you mentioned about the district and how tough it is week in and week out. What do you think? Is it come district time? Is it going to be kind of a toss-up, or after the first 2 or 3 weeks, are you going to start being able to sort out that top 4 teams?
I think it's going to go down all the way to the last week. There's not a team in the district that anybody can relax on, and it sets yourself up. I mean, the mentality that you got to have once the playoffs hit. It's the same mentality you got to have throughout the district race. But I think it's going to be tied all the way down through the end of through the last week of the season.
Yeah, very good. Larry Prince, head football coach at Garrison High. Bulldogs getting ready for the upcoming season. Anything else about your team or about the season that you want to make mention of?
We're excited to be here. Thank Pat Browning for having us out here, and KGAS, and we're excited about the season.
Get a couple of burgers, did you?
I got a burger. I did.
Oh, very good. Very good. Coach, I appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Good to have you on.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up on this particular session here with Larry Prince from Garrison. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we will come back and continue with our broadcast here this afternoon from Pat Browning's in Fair Play. Back in 3 minutes on your Sports Beat of East Texas stations. And we are back once again here this afternoon on the Sports Beat of East Texas stations, KGAS in Carthage, KPXI and KWRD in Henderson, KMHT in Marshall. We thank you very much for joining us. Our Meet the Coaches program here today from Pat Browning's location out here in Fair Play, where all these coaches have just gotten together, have a few burgers, and swap stories. I'm sure, surely none of that's going on here today. Darren Hightower is the new head football coach at Tatum, even though you've been there a couple of years. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Are you all excited, wound up, ready to go? You probably haven't slept in a couple of months, have you, getting ready for this?
I'm struggling right now. It's been a great week of practice. It's been kind of long because we've had in-service during the week. So our coaches are all in in-service all day, so we've had practices after school, after in-service in the evenings. We usually go to around 9 o'clock or so the kids kind of get out a little late, coaches out a little late, but the kids have responded really well. A lot of new coaches and whatnot, and so we're kind of all getting to know each other.
When you have a situation like that, though, of new coaches, even though you've been on the staff the last couple of years, scheme-wise, do you tweak some things, change some things? Did the new coaches coming in want to do totally different stuff, or are you doing familiar stuff that the kids know?
Well, the great thing on the defensive side, the guy that's replaced me as the defense coordinator, Brandon Jocelyn, he was with us last year as the inside linebackers coach. He came from Marshall as the DC over there for Harper, and he did a great job when he was over there. And so he's keeping everything pretty much the same with the kids, what we did in the spring, what we did last year and the year before that. The kids know that the best, and for those younger kids coming up, it's been a lot easier transition for them. Offensively, we got a new guy in, Nate Lynch. He was at Mineral Wells last few years. He's been at several places. He was with Todd Dodge at South Lake Carroll one time. He's with Mark Bell at China Spring. So he's been with some really good coaching, but he's kind of changed up the offense a little bit, more multiple stuff. But the kids are really getting used to a lot of terminology. The difference, that's a big difference in it. But the plays and the things they're running, scheme-wise stuff is still pretty much the same.
Yeah. Well, I know it's awful early, but as you scan over the field and you look at the youngsters that you have out there, when it comes time to line them up, be it September, October, non-district, district play, whatever, you got the athletes you think that you want to have out on the field competing for you?
I really do. We're going to be a little inexperienced at several positions because we only have 3 really coming back on defense and basically 3 or 4 really coming back on offense. But those are some big key players. Obi Jones at quarterback is getting a lot of looks, a lot of colleges. He's going to be a big leader for us. Ja'Kais Jenkins, tailback. Ja'Kais plays outside linebacker for us too. Wardell Glaspie is a big-time player for us, defensive end, offensive tackle. TJ Fagan, the big nose guard for us, going to play a little offensive line too as well. Those are some big players for us. Everywhere else, we're really young, sophomores, juniors coming off of JVs. But those kids have done a really good job. The big thing I'm excited about is we have 44 freshmen that came in. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but we have 44 freshmen. And so because we have not as many kids on our JV, we're going to kind of mix them with some of the JV so they can play that schedule and whatnot and get a little more experience because some of those kids are pretty close to maybe having to step up this year, maybe by district, and maybe have a role on varsity.
Yeah, so just because you're a freshman playing a freshman team or JV team in September,
you could be on varsity. You got to grow up quick, and a lot of them have the ability to do that.
At Tatum High School, boy, when you walk in the facility, a tradition hits you in the face in a hurry. How much does that play on the kids' minds?
Oh man, I think that's one thing that we've kind of discussed a few times in our meetings is when they walk down those halls and they see those trophies and they see the rings and they see maybe an uncle, a dad, a granddad, or a relative up there on those walls. They've got some big shoes to fill. And I know I have some big shoes to fill. I've worked under some great coaches, and there's been some great coaches that come through there. Larry Prince was just on there a minute ago, and he was there when they won state championship. Andy Evans, and some guys like that. Coach Hawthorne from way back in the day, he comes in the office all the time, and we talk. And so there's some big shoes there to fill. Craig Barker, who I worked with for several years and followed him around everywhere. I mean, he's been just a mentor for me, and I've learned a lot from him, and filling his shoes is a big deal. That's going to be a tough deal for me to do because he did such a great job too.
I'm an old guy, Coach, and coaches have been telling me for a long, long time. You have a good track program, you're going to have a good football program. They do fit hand in hand, don't they?
They do, and J.B. Haggerty, he's been there for years, and everybody knows him, and he's coached everybody's daughters and grandchildren, and coming through there. He puts such an emphasis on it. And the thing about it is it's a place where kids want to run. You got a lot of schools and a lot of communities, and they try to get away from track. These kids want to be out there. I mean, you don't have to pull their teeth to get them out there. They want to be out there. And those kids are it's fun because you see the success and just, carry over into their other sports.
Because then that translates to you for some speed, some quickness with your bigger guys, some strength with those field event guys. It translates into what you need, doesn't it?
It does that, and just their good genes, coming through there. So
family tradition.
There's a lot. Yes, exactly.
What? I know you got all these game scrimmages, regular season, district coming up, but right now, other than the first game, I know you're going to tell me that the main thing you're pointing at is the first game, but is there a big game in your schedule that you're really looking forward to?
Well, they're all big games,
sure.
But Gladewater and West Rusk and White Oak and all those teams in there are in Mineola and them, and you got Sabine and Winsboro in there. In that district, I think it's going to be very competitive. I've talked to some of those coaches, and they got a lot of young kids coming up. Some of those teams are going to be real young too, a lot like us. But our pre-district schedule is really going to be tough because Center was first game off the bat, and Center's very athletic, and they've got the numbers. Then we have Dangerfield. Dangerfield's always going to be a battle. They're going to have kids that can go. Then you got Pittsburgh. That's always tough, and we had a rough go at it last year with them. And then Hugh Springs, they run some stuff that a lot of teams run around here, so they're always hard to stop.
I'll ask you like I did Larry Prince a while ago. Who made that schedule?
Well, the good thing about it is it's pre-district, and you're trying to get your kids ready for the season. You're hoping to get them ready for a long season, into the playoffs and whatnot. So they got to play some tough teams to get better. But I'll tell you, man, it's going to be rough. We just got to get through and stay healthy.
Very good, very good. Darren Highlander, head coach at the Tatum High School for the Tatum Eagles. All the best to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Go eat a few burgers.
I already had a couple.
Our Sports Beat stations, KMHT, KGAS, and KPXI, and KWRD. Joining us now is Waskom head football coach Whitney Keeling. And, Coach, appreciate you joining us here this afternoon.
Well, appreciate it. It's always a great time to get out here with the coaches before the season kicks off with Mr. Browning at his barn, and we just appreciate everything y'all do for us.
And nice for all the coaches to come out here, get a little food and drink out here. Especially, I know you had an inter-squad scrimmage this morning, so that's got to feel pretty good.
Well, it did. I mean, and the weather was good. I mean, we got a little bit of rain on us, but it wasn't just too much where we couldn't go.
You talked about it being one of the most perfect weather day for 2-a-days for the week. You talked about being one of the most perfect weeks for it. Again, I remember we talked, I think about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you tell God to just lower the temperature down just a little bit before we start. That could be a blessing. And he did, because it got a little bit cooler, especially from what it was. So it kind of helped you out there.
Yeah, I did. And it's kind of funny. We were at practice yesterday, and I told the kids, I said, I don't know which one of y'all are the prayer warrior, but whichever one it is, I want to be for you to be praying for me, because I'm telling you, God definitely spared us. So the heat has been awesome in the afternoons, anywhere from the low 80s to the mid 80s, and the breeze blowing. So we've been very fortunate for that, for sure.
That's great, Coach. Well, first week of 2 days, how did the first week go? I know you started, you got pads on Friday. You had a little inter-squad scrimmage this morning. So just talk to me about this first week of practice.
Well, I mean, we feel like that we're probably, I guess, leap years ahead of where we were last year defensively, with as many seniors that we have returning. Offensively, when we're just trying to find some guys to fill in those holes of those seniors that graduated, still trying to find a quarterback and just fine-tune some stuff. So, you try to implement as much you possibly can offensively, and then kind of scale it back to find what the kids are comfortable with. So,
and that may be one of the most hardest positions ever to replace at any level of football is quarterback. I mean, that's one of the hardest things. Of course, I know you're more of a running guy, more of a running system, but definitely you have to have a captain on the field that can run the offense.
Well, and our quarterback is really astronomical as far as making our offense run. I mean, he makes a lot of the calls and make sure that we're going in the right direction. So, we've been very fortunate, the quarterbacks we've had, and we feel like we've got 3 young guys that are going to fill in as well.
And you feel like anyone's really caught your eye in that first week of competition for the number 1 spot?
Well, I think, we have 2 seniors, Raymond Ramirez and Jacob Norris, and I think Raymond right now has a little bit of edge on him, but, we haven't scrimmaged against anybody other than ourselves. So we'll just kind of let it play itself out as it goes, and, the best one will win it.
And you got, you talked about your running game, Coach. You have, TK Hamilton returning this year. You got Jacob Reeves, your fullback. 2 big guys that were really big successes for y'all, especially going into the postseason last year.
Well, TK's, one of the most dynamic players we've had since I've been here, and we'll lean on him a lot. But Jacob Reeves is kind of the grinder, in the short yardage stuff, and we have another young man that'll be the middle linebacker, but Tristan McDonald, he will also be one of the rotating fullbacks, and we have some other guys that will run. Dalen Hill's the senior tailback as well, and so we feel like that it's just not TK, but obviously you want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible.
And, Coach, you're able to get guys to buy into your system pretty early. Again, you've had great success at Waskom. I know in 2016 had a little bit of off year. Then 2017 you bounced right back, got to the 4th round of the playoffs. So you're able to get guys to really buy into your system. And it shows because y'all were able to go from a, not so great of a season in 2016 and 2017. You're able to bounce back and deep in the playoffs.
Well, we've been here. This is our 10th season, and, so we've had a lot of these kids, and now we're having some of the little brothers come through the program. So, they've seen the success that we've had, and they know that what we do works. So, they just got to trust it, and in 2016, it really wasn't one of those deals that we were just that bad. It's just that we were very, very young, and then we had a lot of injuries on, that went on top of that. So, and a lot of those guys came back last year and had really good years, and then a lot of those same guys are back again this year. So, anytime you're playing with a bunch of young kids, they're going to make mistakes, and so sometimes you got to live and die by those sophomores, and and we died.
Well, Coach, you were in I've called it one of the best districts in Division 3A, Division 3A Division II, because you got New Diana, Dangerfield, also you got your rival Legion Fields coming over as well, and some of those teams, again, New Diana picked 5th to finish in the district, but y'all obviously picked to finish first. So you're in one of a pretty good district this year. So talk to me a little bit about this district this year and what y'all are looking forward to in that.
Well, it's one of those deals that we haven't been in there in the last 4 years with those guys. We've been in with West Rusk and ARP and Troop for the last few years. We've played some of those guys in non-district competition, so it's not completely new to us. But, when you have to travel all the way to DeKalb and Paul Pewitt, that's a long haul for us. But, those guys are going to be competitive for sure. Anytime we step on the field with Legion Fields, it's going to be competitive. And Dangerfield's going to probably have more talent than anybody in the district. So, it'll be a battle each and every week. We're picked to win it, but that's just a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
You have to perform on Friday night, and our kids know that, and that's that's our ultimate goal.
Right on, Coach. Well, before we go here, again, going into this, 2018 season, again, made it to the 4th round of the playoffs last year. What's really the goal for this year's team, Coach? What's the overall mission statement for this year's team?
Well, anytime you suit up, you want to win. That's the whole point of competition. Nobody wants to lose. So our ultimate goal is to win every game. Whether that happens or not, there's a lot of determining factors that go into that. The ultimate goal is to win the state championship, but the first goal is to win the district championship. And once you get in the playoffs, anything goes. You're talking about injuries and grades, and lots of things go into that. So our ultimate goal right now is to win the district championship and then let the playoffs play out as we get there.
All right, appreciate it. Waskom head coach Whitney Keeling. Coach Keeling, appreciate you joining us here this afternoon. Go enjoy a little burger and a drink there.
Thanks, Josh. Y'all
no problem, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's Waskom head coach Whitney Keeling. And we'll go ahead and take a minute break. We'll have our next coach on in just a second. You're listening to Meet the Coaches 2018 on your sports beat stations KMHT, KGAS, and KPXI and KWRD in Henderson. We'll be back in 1 minute break.
The 10th annual Coaches Cookout Show. Of course, this isn't Mark McLean. This is Jason Wade now. As we're moving things right along and we keep talking to the various coaches out here, now we're meeting with head coach John Frazier for the West Rusk Raiders. How are you, Coach?
Doing good, Jason. How about you?
Man, not too bad. It's once again, it's time for another round of football, and you guys had an outstanding year. West Rusk 11-2 on the year last year, an excellent game. And I'm just going ahead and put this out there. I'm not being biased. I don't care what they say. But that Newton Eagles team, that was one of the best teams I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
And nobody played them tougher than you guys did.
Yeah.
They winded up beating you 21-7 there at, I believe it was Eagles Stadium in Tatum. But that was a fine game. But on their way to state championship, nobody played them tougher.
Yeah, I was proud of the kids. Newton had probably one of the best smaller school teams I'd ever seen. And it didn't matter to our kids. And, I've had a lot of teams that might bow down and get a little nervous, but not the kids we had last year. They didn't back down from them and followed them tooth and nail to the fourth quarter. Just didn't have enough juice.
And it was a well-fought game. Not much scoring in the second half. I believe it was 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. And just what a great – I just had to give out some props to that 2017 team. What a team it was.
Yeah.
And that was last year. So now we move on and we transition to this year. What's the first week of practice has been looking like?
Been really good. We returned so many off that team. It's gone really, really good this week. Kids come in, they know the system. We're in our third year with the same defense coordinator, run the same defense. Of course, the offenses that we're running now, we've been running for, 6, 7, 8 years with a few tweaks in and out. So the kids know their stuff, and kids are excited. They're with the new district, and we've had a really good week.
Right. We'll get to that district here in just a moment. As far as your team, you have some key losses from last year. Of course, the A&M signee, Tyree Wilson, one of the best defenses I'd ever seen. When I watched your defense last year, I thought, I am so glad I'm not the opposing quarterback. You really got after those guys with some really talented, and Wilson wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
But you do have some key guys coming back. Talk about some of the key guys like your running back Garland and the quarterback.
Probably the first two is the quarterback and the tailback. They're 4-year starters. Been playing for us since they were freshmen on both sides of the ball. So LaJavius Harper and Jalen Garland. Of course, we have the other seniors returning, Darius Richardson, who is committed to Texas State. And then DJ Hart, who has multiple Division I offers, returning again. He's played the last couple of years for us. And we have quite a few kids. I think we have 2 that's going to go into their 4th year on varsity, and we have, I think there's 16 that's played the last 3 years. So it's a really experienced group.
I tell you what, whenever somebody comes to watch West Rusk play this year, what are going to be your strengths and weaknesses that you think? Of course, you still got to finish training camp, but going into the season, what do you think is going to be what's going to be best for you, and what are you going to need to work on?
Well, just trying to do our best, one, to stay healthy. We, of course, we moved up in classification to Division I. We're the smallest school in the state of Texas. Yeah. And quite a few of those schools in our district have moved down from 4A. So I think one is just withstanding the year. It's going to be a really tough district. We have a tough preseason schedule that we open up with ARP and then on to Waskom and Harmony. And so it's going to be a battle week in, week out for us. So I think that the biggest thing that we got to do a good job of staying healthy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So let's talk about the district, man. Once again, UIL redistricting. Mm-hmm. It's odd having you and ARP open up the season, but you got to if you're going to still keep that rivalry going. But talk about who are the teams in your district.
Yeah, in the district, you have Tatum and Gladewater, of course us and Sabine, White Oak, Mineola, and Winsboro. I grew up in White Oak and played in White Oak in the late '80s, and it's pretty close to the old 16-3A that I grew up watching and playing in myself. So that's exciting. Really going to miss not being in the district with Coach Irwin or Coach Keeling and Coach Eastman. And, me and Dale and John specifically, we've been together. Yeah. Either played each other, and me and John worked together, of course, for the last 15 years. So I was excited to be able to get that game with ARP, to keep that going with Dale and the ARP.
And y'all aren't playing Troop this year, though, are you?
No, we couldn't get one worked out with Troop, and I hated that. But going to miss those guys a lot. But also excited with a new district when you play. You play a certain group of people for this many years and get to play a new set. So it's exciting.
And, for those that are listening, we're meeting here, interviewing head coach John Frazier for the West Rusk Raiders. Let me hear you out there, Raider Nation. I know some of you guys out there listening today, but for some of you that aren't familiar, West Rusk, Troop, and ARP, these are 3 schools, and they're always in the same classification, and it's almost like a Bermuda Triangle. They're not very far from each other. These towns are not very far, and you guys just have a very close relationship, don't you?
Some of my best friends, not just in the coaching profession, but even outside. Of course, me and Coach Eastman grew up together in White Oak.
And the players, it's like family whenever y'all play each other.
It's everyone knows each other, but it's like those brothers that get out in the backyard and play. It gets pretty serious and pretty heated when we are playing each other, but before and after the game, it's just good friendship.
Good friendship. Well, I'll tell you what, once again, West Rusk, looks like you got a lot of talented players coming back. You're going to be in a very tough district. It'll be fun watching you. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about, preseason district favorites, but you got a pretty good another good team. You're top 20 ranked in the state. One last thing you want to tell the fans that are going to be coming out to watch Raiders this year?
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and what they're used to seeing. I think your kids are going to play hard and play with a great Raider effort that they're used to playing with. I think it's going to be a good, fun, exciting year.
All right. That's head coach John Frazier for the West Rusk Raiders. Anything you want to say for this next gentleman coming up? ARP's Dale Irwin's going to come up right after.
He's the one and only. He needs no introduction.
All right, there you go. Thank you. That was Coach John Frazier. We'll continue with the Coach's Cookout Show coming up right after this 60-second break. Coming up will be ARP, and also don't forget Troops John Eastman after him. Daniel Football Coach's Cookout Show. Jason Wade here once again keeping things going. Just got through meeting with West Rusk John Frazier now. A longtime friend of Coach Frazier's for the ARP Tigers, and that's head coach Dale Irwin. Coach, once again, you've been at it, Coach, there at coaching at ARP for what? 15 years now?
I've been there 19, but this is my 16th as the head coach.
16th as the head coach. Well, I want to tell you this. Coach Frazier he said some pretty good things about you. So
well, I hope so.
I just want to let you know before we begin.
But you never know.
He talked about how weird it was going to be going into the season, not being in the same district with you or Coach Eastman for Troop.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little different, isn't it?
It's going to be different. We've always been district opponents as far as I can remember. I can't remember the last time we didn't play West Rusk. So it's a situation where we're going in and we're still going to play them. but it's just not going to count. So that's probably even better for us this year.
Could be better. Could be better. I tell you, for those that are listening, of course, the ARP Tiger Nation that's out there listening as well, looking back at last year's season, 2017, not as many wins as the ARP Tigers are used to with the football program over the years. And I've said this many times when we did the KPXI listening area, of all the teams year in and year out, y'all probably won the most games over the 15-plus years that I've been there. Last year was a tough year, but you still made it into the playoffs. You won the right games. But I want to say that looking at last year, that was one of the best defenses you ever had.
Well, I mean, when you lose that many kids from the year before, you got a lot of coaching to do. And we didn't have many seniors last year. We're not going to have many this year. So we're kind of in a back-to-back years where we don't have many seniors. And so you have to depend upon your younger kids and get them developed and get them ready. Last year we felt like going into pre-district, we were going to use those games to get ready for the district games, and we kind of had those games settled out where we thought we could really compete well and make the playoffs. And that was our goal, and we did it. So that was a credit to those young men and the hard work they put in. And I can't say anything but good things about the team we had last year, even though the record wasn't where we wanted it to be. It's that away sometimes. So we were proud of them for the effort they put forth.
So what we look at is in 2016, a lot of really talented players graduated. Last year was kind of a rebuilding year. Going into this year now, as we look into 2018, you're still young, but you're a little bit older in some places.
Well, we are. We've got a good quarterback battle going on. We think with three pretty good kids, and the two scrimmages are going to reveal the winner of that competition. We've got about 3 kids back on offense, 4 back on defense. So we got a lot of work to do in those areas. But we feel like by the time we get into the district, we're going to be okay again.
All right, some players to watch, some guys that maybe we heard of from last year, or maybe some new guys coming
Well, we've got a lineman, Blake Hayes, and he's going to be really good. He's played for us for the last 2 years, and we're expecting big things out of him. Of course, we've got Logan Shuttlesworth at inside backer, and he could be one of our quarterbacks. Okay. We've got Keller Bright, who's a returning secondary guy, receiver guy. He was hurt for 4 of the 5 games last year, but he's one of our better players. And then, of course, Trent Jones is coming off injury. We're finally getting him healthy, getting him back, and that's DeMarvion's little brother. So he's also battling for the quarterback spot. So, we've got some kids that we're excited about and some young kids coming up who are going to have to step in some roles that we think can do the job for us.
Keep that Tiger tradition going.
We hope so. We certainly hope so.
So DeMarvion's little brother, what grade is he going to be this?
He's going to be a junior.
He's a junior this year. Okay.
Yes, sir. He got hurt in the Newton playoff game on a punt and really messed up his knee and his hamstring. Okay. So he's been battling. He's actually played basketball the first 3 or 4 weeks, and he came in one day and said, "Coach, I just can't go anymore." And we took him in, and he had a knee injury and a hamstring tear. Okay. So we've been slowly working him back, and trying to get him ready for this year. And then I think he's going to be ready by the time we get started.
Okay. And then also, just like with the other guys, a lot of redistricting. UIL did a lot of redistricting. Who are going to be the teams? Give us a district preview, and what are going to be the teams you're involved with this year?
Well, I think as always, you've got Harmony in there, and they're strong from 12th through 7th grade. You've got Winona, who's up and coming, and Coach Kincaid's done a great job over there, and they used to be in our district, so we're familiar with them. And of course, you got Troop, who's 8 miles down the road, who John does a tremendous job, and we're good friends also. So, and we've got some new teams: Alba Golden, Quidman, Frankston, Grand Saline, that moved into the district that we absolutely know nothing about. So we've got to get up to date on them and get ready for that. But I think it's going to be a good competitive district. And I don't think there's going to be one just absolute standout. I think we can all compete week to week for that championship.
Well, that's what you're going to try to do, try to get the top 4, right?
That's it.
Try to do that, and tell you what, once again, ARP Tigers looking to continue to get back to that winning program they've always had. It's pretty cool that you can have a tough year but still make the postseason, and I know it's going to be your aim and go again this year.
As always, man. Always.
That's head coach Dale Oren for the ARP Tigers, folks. Let's keep the Coach's Cookout show going. We got Coach John Eastman coming up for the Troop Tigers, who you just heard Coach Irwin talk about. We'll be right back right after this word from our sponsors. Coach's Cookout show. I tell you what, when you do this, we're doing it outside. It's out in the East Texas sunshine, and we've got I realized I was sitting up here in a fire ant bed, so y'all just y'all forgive me as we can keep going here, and I think we got it at least squared away where at least they're not going to eat me alive. So, but we're now meeting with head coach John Eastman for the Troop Tigers. Coach, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right.
Be better if you get some of those ants off your shoes. Huh?
I tell you what, I looked down there and saw my white socks were not very white. But I tell you what, let's look at the Troop Tigers. And last year, I thought it was a very solid season. The year before was really whenever you really had a lot of changes. I thought you were really, really young 2 years. And yet last year, it seemed like the pendulum was heading back up, man. It was exciting to call some Troop Tiger games last year. Just talk about last year's season real quick.
Well, last year was we tried to use that as a hurdle to get over. And we, felt like we had a chance to compete in every game that we played last year.
Yeah.
And, as it turned out, we did.
Yeah.
There was a couple of district games that, we lost where we made mistakes in critical situations, or, the other teams made some big plays in those situations. And, we were 1 win away, actually a touchdown away from, being a third or fourth place team in the district.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's very tight, in the same district with Troop and West Rusk, and not Troop, West Rusk and ARP and Garrison, and man, you just whoever I saw you guys play last year, y'all were very, very competitive, and there was 2 or 3 games that came right down to the wire.
Well, probably the big thing for us last year was we had defensively we had quite a few injuries. At the second level, and
injuries are always tough.
At our level, it doesn't just affect one side of the ball; it affects both sides of the ball, and that ended up being a big thing for us down the stretch.
Down the stretch, yeah.
Offensively, we felt like we got where we wanted to be. Yeah. Defensively, whether it be because of that or for other reasons, we never felt like we reach the potential that we wanted to.
Right. And so you look into, and by the way, we're really excited to have Coach Eastman here, just for whatever, scheduling conflicts, not able to be here the last year or so, but you're here this year, man. And have you enjoyed shooting the breeze, a little football fun and fellowship with these guys?
Oh, absolutely. Coach Frazier and Coach Irwin and I are very close, and we're going to give each other a hard time no matter wherever we're at. So this just adds to it.
I was very pleased that they were nice to each other. So I'm just letting you know. So you can choose to be nice or give them a hard time because you're going last.
Well, I'll let them battle it out. I'll just stay in the backside here and just enjoy watching them.
That's right. So after this first week, you got your first week of practices under your belt. How do you feel about the team as far? I mean, it's still a little early, but going into the year, who are some players that we need to watch out for, to look out for, that look really good maybe, and some guys that you're going to be counting on this year?
Well, with the experience we have back, we're counting on quite a few, but Wesley Ross, our quarterback, is going to be a key figure for us, and making the offense go. We got experience back in the offensive line.
Here's some good things about that offensive line. Why do I keep hearing good things for it? I don't know. Is got some big boys?
We got some size. We had a move in. New superintendent Tammy Jones, her son Cade Jones, going to be playing right tackle for us, and he's 6'3", 295.
Okay.
Moves good, strong. Malik Gilliam. He's a 6'2.5", 345 kid that's squatted 700 and power lifted.
Wow. So you got some big boys up front.
Yeah, we're pretty big across the front line, and right now they're executing, doing some great things. They're learning. It's all a mental process. We were talking about that on the way over.
Yeah.
Seems like we're not moving at the speed we need to be moving at right now.
Right.
But there's still a lot of thinking going on offensively. So we're hoping to be able to get past that point and next week get in and pick up the speed a little bit.
Enough repetition, so where they don't have to think about it by the time the season starts. So, and of course, I guess next weekend, that's when the scrimmages will start. Whenever people come out to, I know we got Troop Tiger Nation out there listening to us, so we're glad to have you listening here. Right now, I'm talking to your head coach, John Eastman, there for the Troop Tigers. 3rd year, I believe, out at Troop, right?
That's correct.
Now, you've been there for longer than that, but this is as a head coach, you've been out there.
Correct. I think I don't know what the total years is now. I came in the fall of 2003, and this will be the second stint.
Second out there. Love the Troop Tigers, love their fans, and whether it's football or basketball, man, they get loud. They get loud and proud.
We just like any other small community in East Texas, there's a lot of pride, and we have great people in Troop. It's a great place to be from.
Exactly, and of course Dale talked about the little Bermuda Triangle that's Troop, ARP, and West Rusk, but. And Dale had a little bit of his spin on it, but you talk about your spin for the new districting there, because it's a whole bunch of new teams for you, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be different. I mean, it was kind of funny because we looked at some of these schools that are in our district now. you know, we don't know anything about. You know, Dale and I
Grand
talked
Saline.
about
What's the history between Grand Saline and Troop or Mineola and Troop or Alva Golden?
Yeah, I don't know what the history is. So
yeah.
You know, I don't know that we've ever been in a district with them or anything like that. But you know, so it's kind of exciting because it's new.
Yeah.
You know, Coach Russell at Harmony. You know, they're going to be well coached and they're going to be good.
Because you don't know a lot about a lot of teams except for maybe one or two, like Harmony.
Correct. And you know, Coach Kincaid at Winona, of course, he's a graduate of Troop, and you know, there's a relationship there, and you know, they're very athletic at Winona, and he does a great job. They've done a great job getting that program, you know, turned around, had some success, and a lot of good things there. But there's just a lot of, you know, there's some teams there that we don't know much about, and this will be the first time we've seen some of those teams in a while.
It's going to make it interesting. Those game tapes going to be coming in pretty important, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, let me tell you this before I let you go, Coach. Speaking here with Coach Eastman for the Troop Tigers. Strengths, what do you think are going to be the strengths and the weaknesses for the Troop Tigers going into the year this year?
Well, I think our offensive line's got to be a strength for us to get to the point we want to be.
Yeah.
You know, our experience returning on the offensive side with the skill kids. Hopefully a healthy Trent Allen this year, running the football. You know, I think that makes
he went out last year. That hurt for sure.
That hurt us.
And Wesley being the quarterback, I think that keeping him healthy is going to be important
absolutely,
as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, defensively, we're going to a new system. Coach Wells came in. You know, so we're excited about that. They're running all over the field right now. But a lot of confidence in them defensively. They're going to figure it out and do a great job.
So. All right. Well, I tell you, I'm excited about it, man. Talking between you and Coach Frazier for West Rusk and for Coach Dillon for ARP, I'm excited about the season coming up. You know, maybe it'll be a little bit weird that all three of you won't be in the same district, but at least you and ARP will still get the Tiger tussle. We call it the Tiger tussle, and we'll get that game. And, man, once again, best of luck to you, Coach Eastman.
Appreciate it.
And that's head coach John Eastman for the Troop Tigers as they look into the 2018 season. And I believe coming up next, Josh, who we got? We got Beckville. Beckville's head coach coming up next as we keep this cookout train going here on the 10th Annual Coaches Cookout Show. We'll be right back.
Cabin out here in Fairplay, Texas, and we just got to talking to Coach Eastman over there at Troop Tigers. And now we got here on KGAS, we got the head coach of the 2018 Beckville Bearcats football team, athletic director, head coach Mike Bickham. They're at a new class this year. They're in Class 2A, Region 3, Division 1 in District 11. And, Coach, you got a lot of new teams that you're going to be facing, but yet you're familiar with them.
Oh, yeah.
You got Tenahall, you got Garrison, you got Timpson, Joaquin, Kendon Kildare, and Harleton, who you've played these teams before. Now, you got about 4 non-district games this year, you'll be playing Chevyville.
Most of those guys we've all been facing.
You've been facing Chevyville, West Sabine, and Hemp Hill, and
Hawkins
also now Hawkins.
Yeah, Hawkins will be new. That's a new one for us. We hadn't seen Tenahall in a long time. Never played Garrison. Linden Kildare is another new one. But everybody else, Timpson, Joaquin, Harleton, Hemp Hill, West Sabine, Shelbyville, even our scrimmages, St. Augustine, Maud, we've been playing those guys over the last few years. So there's a lot of familiarity. A lot of people are different in a lot of these schools and all that stuff. But and we're going to be a lot different. So, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun year.
Let's tell our listeners some facts that's going on right now. You're going to have about 4 non-district games and about 6 district games. But let's give out some information real quick because next Tuesday you got the media day on the 14th. But Meet the Bearcats is on Monday, August the 20th. What time is that, Coach?
We're going to probably go around 7:30, somewhere around 7:30. Might be 8 o'clock. We're kind of we don't set a definite time until we get real close because just the fact it's either going to be 7:30 or 8, depending on what time everybody gets out of practice, volleyball, football, band, and all that stuff, so that we can get everybody there.
So remember, August 20th on a Monday, that's Meet the Bearcats out there at the football stadium.
Well, we'll probably go in the gym. Last year we went in the gym, and that was a big hit.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be cooler.
Hot. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And all that. Well, I was a little worried about packing everybody in there, but it worked pretty good last year. We'll probably do that again.
That's fantastic. I know I won't sweat now. And then you start off and crank up the season on August 17th with a scrimmage at St. Augustine.
Yeah, St. Augustine. We decided we'd go pick on somebody that wasn't very good. So we'll just go down there to St. Augustine.
Then the following week, you play at home, Maud, on a Thursday night to make it available for everybody to come out and play.
Thursday night, that's going to be our day to shine. So our day to shine is a thing Texas High School Coach Association puts on, and everybody can give a donation as they get there. And Texas, and we send all that money, 100% of it goes to the Texas High School Coach Association, and they use that money for kids that get injured, for coaches that get injured, and things like that, and help pay for, our day to shine helps pay for kids that become handicapped, maybe with an injury in football or what have you, and they get them, they've bought the handicap vans and things like that. That's what they use that money for, and it's a big deal. So that it'll be a pure donation to come into the scrimmage, whatever anybody wants to donate, whether it be $2, $3, $5, what have you, and then we'll pass a bucket during the scrimmage. But that'll be a good night.
That's on August 23rd.
Yes, Maud will be real good. I just talked with Coach Cross yesterday. He doesn't have a lot of kids out, only like 25 kids, but he said about 18 of them are really, really good.
There
he
you
said,
go.
Coach, we're pretty good. I said, good. That'll be a good test for us.
And it looks like your first district game will be October 5th, and that's going to be at home against Tenaha Tigers.
Yep, Tenaha. They're going to be real daggum good. It's going to be a fun game.
Yep, they were state finals last year, but you got a good district that you're playing in, and they're going to be competitive, and you know them, and they're right down the road, most of them.
Yep.
And so, and I know y'all communicate. See, I saw you talking to them, so this is not no first time thing for you.
Right.
And here's your district there. That's going to be your district play, and we got the schedule there, and these teams are not that far off that you'll have to be traveling. Looks like your only furthest game's going to be one of them is Harleton. And then I guess West Sabine's kind of, that's a little far.
Right.
But it's not out of your nosebleed section driving.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of your players, Coach. Let's talk quarterback. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these, Coach. You got Omari Morrison. He's quarterback.
Yep.
Is that right now? Is he leading the team?
He is leading the team. Maury's doing an outstanding job. He's taking he's really taking the reins and taking control of our offense. He's learning what he's doing, understanding the new offense really, really well, and I'm excited about him.
And I see that you got your interception leader from last year, old Mark McGuire's back.
Yep, of the kids that are returning, Mark has the most interceptions. He's a great kid. He'll start at receiver and at safety for us. He's and at safety for us. He's a real good kid and all that. Excited about a lot of those guys.
Then you got your all-stater, Carlos Campos, back.
Yep. Carlos is, he's going to be a junior this year. He's been all-state both his freshman and sophomore year at kicker. This year he'll be starting at receiver and at defensive back for us, as well as punter and kicker. So
he's an athlete.
He is a tremendous athlete, and he's
kid.
A big weapon for us. He sure is.
Then you got some of your Austin Roy's. He's exciting always to watch. Wide receiver and defensive back, punt returner, kickoff returner.
Everybody's going to know Austin Roy's. I mean, he's very dynamic, and not only as a player but as an individual. He's got enough personality for 2-3 people. He's a fun kid to get to coach.
Maury Morrison, you got him, and then you got old Cooper Morris.
Cooper's he's a special player. He really is. He's a great kid, very tough. He's been starting for us on defense since he was a freshman, so he's something else. But I tell you what, the guys I want to talk about, the offensive linemen.
Tosh Hawks.
Tell you what. C.J. Robinson.
How big is he, Coach?
He's about 6 foot, and he's probably about 260, and he is some kind of
senior
now. Yep. And Ethan Collins is back, about 6'2", 240. Christian Perez. Ross Young starting to
Ross Young center.
Again. Ross has gotten real big. And then we got a youngster thrown in the mix there at right guard, Hunter Lambright. He's a sophomore, real special kind of kid. Now he's smart, he's tough. He's that kind of kid that's real coachable, wants to do his best. Good sized kid too. It's been the biggest offensive line we've had.
You're right.
Years.
I noticed
I'm pretty excited about them. Abram Haregrove at the tight end, H-back spot. J.D. Prince at running back.
He's good.
He's a big playmaker for us, So we're excited about those. Draven Hartley out there, Taylor Hightower. Guys coming back from the last 2 years at receiver. Hunter Davis is going to be playing receiver for us.
Zach Matthews help out.
Those guys, I'm telling you, we're excited. We got a lot of receivers coming back, and those guys are really, really good. We're excited about them. Evan Allen's a new youngster, too, that's coming in. Landon Dixon. All these kids played receiver for us last year.
Dixon.
Man, we've got some talent receiver. We're excited about them. Our offense is going to be pretty fun. Now
they're pushing me to wrap it up.
Yeah, the kid that you need to know. Remember, Jay Sean Adams at nose guard.
That's what I was going to tell you. Let's talk about your defensive line. You got old Adams, who is he is huge.
Aaron Jones at one defensive end. Dylan
Story's another one.
Then Cody Anderson.
You can't get him.
Coulter, Klingler.
Yeah, you got some linebackers.
Well, I'm telling you, we got some kids that have been playing, so we got a lot of experience coming back, and I'm excited about those kids. They got a great attitude. They're working hard, having a lot of fun. They're making it fun for our coaches. By the way, a lot of new coaches in Beckville, man. I'm telling you, we got a special group this year.
Well, put some names.
We really do. Craig Barker.
That's a Tatum name.
Yeah. He's been head coach at Tatum last few years. You think that guy doesn't bring something special to Beckville? Daniel Johnston, our new offensive coordinator, came from Course County Mildred. Again, a very, very special kind of guy. Anthony Moore is our new head basketball coach, but also receivers and DBs coach. Kids love him. He's a lot of fun. We got a good group. And then Andy Evans came on staff this year.
Can't beat Evans. He's forgotten more football than a bunch of people even know.
You want to talk about lucked out. Best thing I think I've done is hiring them coaches.
God's blessing you.
Hey,
Beckville's on target.
Very well. So
let's wrap it up, and let's go ahead and tell our listeners what we can expect out of the Beckville Bearcats.
You're going to expect a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of energy on the field when we play. Our coaching staff's going to be fun to watch. These kids are going to be great. They're going to be well disciplined. They're going to really play aggressively, physically, and we're going to be well prepared and all that. And it's going to be a fun season for us. I think we're going to surprise some folks.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Coach Bickham, and thank you for coming here on KGAS for Media Day.
Thanks for having me.
And this is the 2018 Athletic Director, Head Football Coach of the Beckville Bearcats. We're signing off right here for a station break. We'll hear a word from our sponsors here, KGAS at Pat Browning's Cabin.
Welcome back, everyone. Trevor Bullard here. We're going to be interviewing center coach Barry Bowman. You having a good time out here, Barry?
I'm doing. It's been a good time. It's been a real good time. The food's been good, and the weather's cooperated with us.
All right, Coach. So you all started 2 days this week, and just tell us how that's been going.
It's been going well. Our kids have came in and they worked hard, and they've been focused, and they're ready to get this thing going. I've been really, really, really pleased with the effort they put out this week.
Now, is there anyone that's kind of stood out this week? Anybody on offense or defense, or is there one for each?
Or offensively, our quarterback, Jaden Hicks, he's been really good so far this week.
Nobody knew that?
He was our starter last year, and this year you can tell that the game's really slowed down for him. And I think he's going to have a big year. Him and also Marquez Hall, our running back. He was a freshman last year, and he's a sophomore this year, and he's been having a really good camp also.
All right. Well, last year I was reading about y'all earlier today. And y'all went 3-3 in district and 3-8 overall. So, losing season, but y'all are projected to do a lot better this year. Kind of what do you think is the reason for that projection?
Well, last year we were really young. We were basically freshmen and sophomores, and they've grown up now. So now the whole community and the city, they're fired up about this year, and our kids they're really ready to play. And we think if we can stay free of the injury bug, we think we got a chance to play for a while.
Well, do you think you can compete? I mean, obviously you're going to be a little biased. I know that. But how far do you think y'all can go in the playoffs?
Well, the goal is to be playing in December. Mm-hmm. But we really think with the team that we have and the direction that we're headed in, we think we might have a chance to play for it. And like you said, I am a little biased. The way our kids are working and everything that we put in and our kids have adapted to, they've taken to it. We think we can play a while. We really do.
All right. Well, looking right here, you said Hicks is playing a lot better. He threw 26 touchdowns last year, which is really good.
As a sophomore.
That's really impressive.
Yes, sir.
And looking at your defense, who's your number one defensive player right now?
Right now, Catavius Evans. He's a returning starter. This is his third year. He'll be starting at linebacker for us. We also have Jake Liker, who started for us last year as a freshman. He's a returner, and we also have a younger kid that people don't know about yet, but Hollis Polk. He's going to be a difference maker for us in the secondary. So we've got 3 or 4 kids that are going to be big playmakers for us this year, hopefully on the defensive side of the ball.
And what's your for last thing before we go, what's your kind of number one game on your schedule? You know, when the schedule comes out, you look and see who'd be the one you circled.
Wow. Well, we hope to that last game against Jasper. That'll be a big one because we think that might be the district championship, and it's the last game, and it's in center. So that's a big game. But we also look at the first one. We want that first win against Tatum. So that's a big game for us, too, out of the gate.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to send it back to the studio for a 90-second break, and we'll be back for the final interview of the evening, or afternoon, not evening, excuse me, and that is going to be Coach Rapp for Carthage. This has been Trevor Bullard with KGAS.
All right, we're back at it, Pat Browning's place at Fairplay, Texas. Meet the coaches, and we're going to finish up the day with Coach Scott Surratt of the Carthage Bulldogs. Well, Scott, you're coming off a year where you were completely dominant. A couple of my favorite stats: you never trailed at any time in the last 10 games, and never trailed in the second half in 15 of the 16 games. But you lost some key players, and I'm going to ask you about 2 key positions. Okay, let's start with linebacker. Mikael Gates, Ahmad Brown, Jose DeJulian, in my opinion, the best trio we've ever had here. What's it look like for this next year?
Well, there's no question those 3 young men were the best trio since I've been here, and they were a special group. But, you know, we've got some good candidates. Jalen Brooks at Mike linebacker, and Rayvon Ingram's working at Will right now. And Campos is working at Alan Campos working at Sam. So, yeah, some other guys in there. Bobo's in there. He's going to have a lot of competition in there. So there's going to be a lot of competition. It's going to take game reps for those guys. But I think we'll be fine there.
And you've got Coach Gatson working with them, don't you?
We do. We got Coach Gaston. He's OLK Tiger boy. Stole him, and you know, he's really, really going to benefit our program. And you know, I know his whole family and everything. He's great character, young man, and he's going to do our FCA, and just a great guy, but a great coach also.
I really enjoyed interviewing him today, earlier today at Media Day. All right, so that's the linebackers. Now, another key group. They're pretty hard to beat this trio, too. DeWaylen Ingram, D. Bowens, Makai Cobert. Okay, who we looking at there?
Well, that's a special group also. You know, those 6 guys you've mentioned from last year. It'll be tough. But, you know, we got Baylor College had a very good camp. Kel Williams has had a good camp. And then you got Kelvonte Dixon playing receiver right now. Now, he'll get some carries out at tailback some, and then he'll do some jets and reverses. And, you know, Rashabrius Garrett, you know, those guys, that's kind of the main guys we're looking at right now. Hunter Hill's another guy that's we're throwing the ball to. So we've got a lot of guys who can catch a ball. We got to get lined up right, and, you know, stance, alignment, and knowing their assignment. And if we can do all that, then they'll be fine.
I think another highlight for 2017, I don't think we've ever had as much versatility in the kicking game as we had last year, especially on kickoffs. You had about 3 or 4 guys that you went to from time to time. And so talk about kicking off and also the punts.
Well, we lost Segala, and he was very 2-year guy, and he was very good. But Roberto Garcia got some time in there for us last year, and he's kicking it 10 yards deep right now. He's left-footed, and he can really kick, and he's a good punter too. But you know, Tucker Smith, they were punting most of it last year with the rugby to the right when we went rugby to the right side, but Roberto will probably do some if we go rugby left. But also Luis Priedra he's had a really good camp kicking, and both of those guys, seniors, he and Roberto, and we'll do some more of that 2-kicker stuff, and I think it's be very beneficial to us.
All right, now let's for our Carthage fans, let's make sure we get the most important date in the immediate future. Next Friday night at home against Pittsburgh in the scrimmage, right?
That's right. 5:30, JV and freshmen will play at the same time. JV will be on the fieldhouse side, and the freshmen will be on the concession side, and then about 7 o'clock the varsity will start, and we'll play a little bit, and then we'll scrimmage. Then we'll have a half a game.
Half a game at the end of it.
Live game, half of a live game.
And as it stands right now, there will be no scrimmage on the second week, right?
Not if you can find, unless you can find us somebody, Larry. We have kind of beat the bushes, and we're probably not going to have one. I'm not very confident we're going to find one at this point, but we're still looking.
Scott, okay, we lost a lot. Okay, haven't even mentioned Keontae Ingram that graduated, and a couple of offensive linemen too. But toward the end of the year, we're going to be pretty competitive.
I think so. I think so. We got to stay healthy. We're thin at some positions, but that's what preseason's for. Not only to play a lot of players, develop depth, and then get our starters better, and we will see after that.
All right, Scott. Hey, looking forward to it.
Always a pleasure, Larry. Appreciate you.
Always looking forward to it. All right, that's it for today. We've had Meet the Coaches out here at Fair Play, Texas at the farm of Pat Browning, and really want to thank him. Boy, I tell you what, he stepped it up a little bit this year with some delicious beans that had a little bit of a kick to them, and also with some barbecue sausage. So it's a big thank you to Pat Browning, and we are glad that you've joined us for Meet the Coaches. For Josh Green, Jason Wade, Mark McLean, Paul Taylor, and Trevor Bullard, I'm Larry Allen from Fair Play, Texas, wishing you a great weekend. So long, everybody.